It's springtime right now. That means birds are coming back. Have you ever seen birds sitting on top of power wires? Happens a lot, and we're going to paint some pictures today that shows that. We are going to paint pictures like this. So what we're going to need for this project is this kind of blue paper for the sky. I'm going to use tempera cakes. I have got my bucket of water, and I have a bunch of different sizes of brushes because we're going to have to do some fine detail, and you're going to want some different sizes of brushes for this. I've got my handout of the different birds of Wisconsin, and I'm going to be looking at that while I paint. Now, I am going to start by making my different power lines. I'm going to do this with a Sharpie. Now, if you don't have a Sharpie, you can do this with the tempera cakes with using just black. I used to do it that way, but I sometimes found that students just made their lines way too thick when I did that. So I think this is a good plan. I'm going to use a ruler and a Sharpie. I'm going to make probably 3 lines, make them go in a little bit different directions, just to break up the space a little bit more interestingly. Now, I've got a sheet that I'm going to have ready for you in class with the pictures of the different birds. And we're going to look at that. I'm going to start with a blue jay in my painting. Now, I am just going to start to think of the different shapes I see in the different colors, and I'm going to recreate those using my tempera cakes. So I'm going to first look at this blue area that takes up most of the top of the body of the blue jay, and I'm going to get that in there. Take your time. You want the paint to go on wet enough that it will make marks on the paper, but you don't want it so wet that it goes dripping down the paper. And we are going to do some layering on this, which just means that we are going to paint stuff over the paint that we've already done. So I might have to let some sections dry a little bit before I can paint over them. But I'm just going to make my blue section of my blue jay first. Now, after that, I'm going to look at my picture again, and I'm going to find what other colors. I see the bottom part of the blue jay is all white, and part of the head too, so I'm going to add that white in on my blue jay. So now I'm going to add any other colors, any other sections that I need to, and maybe some feet, before I go over the old colors with something new. It just gives them a little chance to dry a little bit. Once everything is dry enough, it doesn't have to be 100% dry, but it needs to be dry enough that there's no big pools of water on the paper, I can start to add other details over the colors I've already painted. Like I'm adding the black parts of the blue jay's wing in this, and then I'm going to add different parts, parts of the beak and the eyes and anything I need to paint over the paint I've already done. Now, you might have to wait a little bit to be able to do this, so maybe working on a different part of the painting is smarter in this. I did that sometimes when I painted this. But now I'm just going over the area and adding all of the details that are on top, I'm layering them on top of the painting I've already done. Now I'm just going to keep doing that. This time I'm going to choose this northern cardinal. I'm going to start adding in the shapes of the colors. Most of this is yellow. I'm going to add in that yellow for the bird and the shapes that the yellow is on my sheet. I am going to make my birds going different directions because that just kind of makes it more interesting. I am laying in all my shapes before I go over the other colors for my details. Now I'm just going to do this again. I am going to pick another bird from my sheet. Maybe you could do the same one if you wanted. And I am going to put them in different areas, some at the top of the page, some at the bottom of the page, right and left. Make them go in different directions to make it more interesting. And then I'm just going to keep doing this. I think about 5, 6, maybe 7 birds. Each a little bit different. Maybe you could do 2 of the same, but, make it a little bit different on your page. Make it facing a different direction or a little bit taller or shorter, or something like that, just to make your painting more interesting. Remember, I am laying in all of my large shapes of color first, and then I am going back for my details later. Sometimes you might have to switch to a different part of the page while it dries, and I did that a couple times when I did this. After I have all of my birds in, I can add things in the sky like clouds or a sun or an airplane or maybe some more birds in the sky. Flying, that's fine too. That's up to you. I really hope you have fun making these. I think these paintings look fantastic when they're done. I really like to put them out on the wall. And I hope to do that with some of yours. Keep going, think about balance. If I've got something on one side, I probably need something on the other side. Just makes the painting look better. Take some perseverance, so stick with it. And I bet you'll come up with something you could be really proud of. So, have fun with it. And happy spring. Tweet, tweet. This was Mr. Walden.